Project L is here. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so excited that I watched 4 of the more popular YouTubers' videos that were able to provide some insight and a lot of description of what's going on in the game and what to expect. And me, being someone who not only loves Marvel, loves League of Legends, plays them both pretty religiously for a long time, I feel like I have some experience, and I kind of want to summarize what all of these great content creators have been illustrating in their videos and give some of my own thoughts and what I'm looking forward to most in the game, and if I can agree with everything that's been said. But first and foremost, just a quick breakdown of kind of what's already been stated in all of these videos and in all of the details that has been provided by Riot themselves. So 2v2 versus game, but recently revealed there's different variations. So you can also play the game as 1 player versus 1 player, 2 characters each. You can play 1 player versus 2 players, so 1 player controls 2 characters, the other 2 people control each 1 character, and vice versa, right? So all of those are supported, which is really cool, and it just makes for an interesting dynamic that we haven't seen in too many games before, right? So personally, I think that's one of the biggest reveals that could have happened for the game, especially because League has had such a great infrastructure for teams and stuff like that. I don't think this has really been mentioned, but the concept of maybe a mainstream 2v2, right, kind of way to franchise a team or to just build small little, duo teams, I think is something that works really well in the ecosystem for League of Legends especially, right? And I just think it'll be something very universally special for esports going forward if they decide to go that route. It could just be primarily the 1 player versus 1 player, 2 characters each dynamic. I think that's still fine too, and it's still gonna be cool. But the element of having like a teammate and someone to like rely on and have that chemistry between 2 players, right? I think that element just creates for very interesting competition, and I think it could really thrive in an environment that we have now in the fighting game community, and just be something unique and different, kind of like what Multiverses was starting to do for a while, but I think on just a greater scale. And then going back to the details of the game itself, the button layout has been completely confirmed, right? So there's light, medium, heavy, very traditional for a lot of versus games, at least for Marvel as well. There's a special 1 and special 2. So those are the specials of each character. And there's a dedicated tag button / assist button. So there's also something called the fuse system where they have 4 different ways like influence the way you play, right? The cool thing about those is that they can almost dynamically change the way that your character has combo routes or the way you kind of want to play neutral, which is really exciting and makes for kind of a different thing, almost like what MVCI really wanted to do, and to an extent I would say did with their Infinity Stones, right? So to break down a couple of them, there's the freestyle fuse. Basically allows you to tag twice. It's a lot like BB tag or MVCI. There's no one said the name because no one used it in any of their videos. Not even joking. Like all the people I watched just didn't, none of them really used it, so they don't even remember the name. But there's just like the red fuse, and it's probably the simplest one that's just like more damage, more speed. I think you can dash cancel from what I recall from some of the videos I've watched. So it's just kind of like overall your team and your characters are better. Then you have the DHC, which is short for delayed hyper combo. Everyone's calling it that. That's probably not the name. Maybe it is. But it basically means you can do 1 super and then get your other character to super in succession, which is pretty unique to the Marvel series. It's something very traditional to the Marvel series. That sounds pretty awesome. And then there's the double fuse, the double assist fuse, which literally is like basically what Marvel 3 can be with 2 different assists, but it's just on the 1 character now. All of these can be chosen, and a lot of people have been saying this in their videos as well, the people that have been watching. The combos look different. They just essentially look much more unique because there's always a different fuse that can be implemented, right? Whether or not that becomes kind of a counter pick style, I don't think it'll lean that way. Based on what I've noticed and what I've seen from all these videos, you're gonna try to hone one of those, right? Like it's not gonna be something that I think you use as a counter pick. It sounds like it's just gonna be a way to play the game how you want to play it, and that's probably something that universally we can all agree is fantastic and just makes it for an exciting dynamic that really is so refreshing to see in the fighting game community. Coming from the League of Legends community, it's a beautiful matrimony of those things. Speaking of League of Legends, played League a very long time, played fighting games a very long time. These characters are translating great, basically perfectly. Ari, what she's been called and deemed the mix-up, the pixie character, just like in League of Legends, she moves around, she's schmooved. Her ultimate in League of Legends basically gives her like 3 dashes, and she's just all over the place, just doing some very high octane action plays, and it feels like she navigates the same way in a 2D space, which is incredible. It's such a monumental success in that way, and it's exciting to see. Darius, same deal, just looks so fluid. The way he plays in League just kind of a big jerk. He just runs at you kind of ready to throw down, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening in this game. And a lot of people are saying he's even very beginner friendly. Same deal. He's kind of a beginner friendly character in League. That's great. That's wild to me too. We really appreciate it. And then Echo literally at the time that he came out was probably one of the more unique kits in League of Legends that just made him stick out. The rewind function he had was basically his ult, where he'd go right back to the space that he was a couple seconds back, and his little after image would follow him. And it sounds like that's something he has in the game as well, and it's just as difficult to use, right? Not to turn this into a League video, but the point is there's a lot of versatility, and his kit can be very diverse, and it looks like that just as well as translated. And not only that, the characters, their voices, their aesthetics, just top notch. Like, I'm looking at the stages and I'm seeing myself getting more and more absorbed of all the little details here and there. It has a very unique style that is, I'd say, very central to how they're showing in like Arcane, if you've seen the TV show. And it looks like they're sticking to it, and they're polishing it in a way that is going to make it really flesh out into its own art direction for a game. And that's awesome. They're doing their own thing, and they're taking inspiration from everywhere, and they're allowing players to play in so many different ways. Obviously, it's very early. We're not going to know for a while, especially until the game comes out and people can play more. But combo routes right now just look like, it looks like Kang the Conqueror in all of his different universe diagrams. They go in every which way direction. It's hard for me to even point out stuff yet. Maybe with time we'll identify that more, and maybe more combos will naturally come together. But something that I can attribute to J1 particularly is combo routes. Just, they're going to be different because grooves are going to be different. There may be some grooves that like people say feel better or work better, but I think with the balanced team that they have right now, they're going to do their best. And you can really tell they're really pushing for the best fighting game elements that are also fair but allow you to play as grimy as you'd like. And it's a hard balance. It's kind of miraculous to even see it in any sort of medium, but they're tackling it pretty well. Everyone in every video has agreed. Game is super fun. Movement is very fluid, and they really feel like they can identify themselves. It sounds like you're going to be able to have a lot of identity in yourself. A Darius from the East Coast who plays freestyle is not going to look at all the same like a Darius from the West Coast who plays double tag, double assist. And as more characters come out, as League pulls from some of their amazing and diverse character pool, I'm not even going to know what to do. Just know that from my own personal perspective, as a fighting game player, as a League player, the game's going to be tough. Max even said that himself. The game's going to be tough to get into when you want to get good. If you just want to jump in and have fun, you're good to go. You're going to be perfect. You can't even be mad. But if you decide, as a lot of people, once you want to make that plunge into being a competitor or just being a bit more versed in a fighting game, it's going to be a little hard at first, because inherently versus games they're just busy. There's a lot happening at once, right? In a particular instance in this game, you can have 4 characters on the screen. So you can already tell, and people have already confirmed, even Sonic Fox confirmed in a recent tweet. For once in a game, there won't be an execution barrier, but there will be an execution hurdle that you can choose to go over. But you can still play the game and have a great time, and maybe even get to a competitive point without crossing it. But I think once you're ready to do that, you're going to really absorb yourself into the versus game culture. It's going to be phenomenal. A lot of the people that play their consensus like meter needs to be a bit adjusted. Maybe even start with a meter, because right now they're not. But the game is it's clear that it's still being developed. It's going to still be developed. There's only 3 characters. But everything that we're seeing so far is just phenomenal. And they're taking feedback from all the players, the content creators, everyone at all levels of play. Honestly, it's exciting to see. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I really hope that they continue to manage this balance of fun, interactive gameplay with a great barrier of entry, but a higher skill ceiling, so that people can fit anywhere on the spectrum where they want, play the game how they want to play. Really looking forward to it. If you like the video, like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff really helps me out. And in the future, I'm going to be making some content to kind of break down characters in League and how I think their kits are going to function in Project L if they make it. So looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next one.
Hold it! I just want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. That's right, I do have a Patreon. And if you want to support the House of Justice and all of the House of Justice endeavors, as well as the people behind the scenes, editors, artists, please consider supporting through the Patreon. Thank you guys so much. Without further ado, here's the rest of the outro. Take that!